Hello, I'm Headers. I don't usually do this kind of thing, so forgive my English and microphone. I recently played and streamed on my Twitch channel most of the Armored Core games, and I've decided to make a tier list just for fun. Take this list with a grain of salt, it's more about how much I enjoyed each game and just what I think about them. So let's get started. Normally I would put the parent or the first game in the series a bit higher, but because there is like 3 iterations of the game, kinda like a trilogy, I think it makes sense to put them like this. Each one kinda improved on each other. Armored Core 1 was a fun ride and I think it's still a great introduction to the series. It was kinda like an annoying segment with platforming in the end, but I guess it was kinda rewarding in the end. Project Phantasma kinda tried to add more of a cinematic story, I guess, or just more story. It was like overall an improvement upon Armored Core. Now, Master of the Arena, I think, kinda like perfected the PlayStation 1 era of Armored Core. Had a pretty good story and good pacing. Now, Armored Core 2 was like a transition to the next generation at the time, from PlayStation 1 to PlayStation 2. I think it turned out pretty well. It's pretty much the same game, but with new graphics. It featured an expanded arena that would be a mainstay for many Armored Cores to follow. It was also just bigger and better. I really enjoyed the arena. Overall, I liked it quite a bit. Now Another Age, this baby gonna go right up here. You know, sometimes simple is best. While Another Age did not feature much of a story, it turned out kinda like the best roleplay of Mercenary, because you just take missions, complete them and get paid. While in the other games you kinda like always play a mercenary but get dragged into something. It also has a ton of missions with great variety. Pretty much every type of mission you can make in this type of game is there. And it also featured quite a hard post-game content. It's definitely one of my favorite ones. Now, Armored Core 3 was kinda more of the same, I guess. It was pretty good, but it did not stand out. It was not very memorable for me. But it wasn't really bad. It had a few small additions, but I didn't even really get to use them. I think here is a good spot for it. Now, Silent Line is still based on the previous series, so it's kinda the same, but it features some really cool missions. It's very well paced and does not overstay its welcome. I really enjoyed playing through it. Now, here is where it gets interesting. The next game in this series, Armored Core Nexus, features long-awaited new control scheme, and that part I really did enjoy. But overall I think it was a weaker game in the series. Now, the new control scheme I did enjoy, and I did enjoy the addition of hangars. But the main drawback of it is the design of the missions, I think. Most of missions take place on small arenas, where you fight like a bunch of enemies that get thrown at you. There is a second disc to it, which is very clearly shows the difference, because on the second disc of the Nexus they remade some older missions, and those were fun. But I don't want to judge this game based on the second disc of it. The main game was on the first disc, and that's what I'm scoring here. Now, Last Raven was probably the only game in the series that I really did not like. I really did not like the balance of it. The heavyweight class was pretty much non-existent, the lightweight and medium class kinda was almost merged into one, I've tried like 80% of weapons in the shop and they all felt kinda weak and unreliable in the tough situations, while some setups was clearly favored. Also, the story or the single player campaign of it, so to say, was kinda really weak and short. I understand you can play it through multiple times and do like different routes, but overall the experience of a single playthrough was very weak. Now we are getting into the next generation of Armored Cores on PlayStation 3. Armored Core 4 was good, but it felt kinda rough around the edges. The menus felt like it was like a beta. Environment looked bleak and, I don't know, bland, empty. The mechs themselves, of course, were pretty cool, and I did enjoy it overall. Now, For Answer was kinda like improvement upon Armored Core 4. It's gonna go right here. It was a much better game overall, I had way more fun in it, but the huge scale of this game was kinda like a double-edged sword. It worked well when you fought against large enemies, but when you were fighting smaller enemies like other ACs, it was kinda hard to see what you were fighting. Gameplay-wise, it was fine, but you kinda could not see the impact of your attacks, so to say. It was a bit too arcadey, I think, but nevertheless, it's a pretty good and fun game. Now, Armored Core 5, on the other hand, is a much different game. Graphics-wise, it felt almost like a, at least environment-wise, in graphics, it felt like a next-generation game compared to the previous two. It is more grounded, closer to the ground, closer to the action, which I kinda really like. It features more of an urban combat, and because everything is closer, you can really see the destruction you do, which is really fun for me. It featured a pretty cool and expansive story mode with huge missions. I guess it was a bit maybe too easy because you could call in the helicopter that resupplies you pretty much as you want. Probably should have been limited to some extent. Overall, I really enjoyed the more grim and dark atmosphere of this game. The new mechanics where you could climb buildings and walls was pretty cool and fun. I almost felt like a superhero. So while it was kinda more slower than the previous games and grounded, it still kinda was very dynamic when you get the hang of it. Now the next and the last game in the series at this moment was Verdict Day, which was like, say, overall an improvement upon previous game. It was rebalanced, I think, to be a bit more harder. Choosing your equipment mattered more. They adjusted the movement, it felt even more kind of fluid and dynamic. I also think the story in Verdict Day is pretty cool. It's kinda a bit more simpler, but it's more coherent story. I think the simpler approach to the story kinda works better in the Armored Core games. Verdict Day also has like a best soundtrack in the series in my opinion. It has a bit less single-player content than the previous game because it was focused on the multiplayer, but overall I've still enjoyed going through it. And to me, you can put Armored Core 5 and Verdict Day right after Another Age, because it feels like a logical evolution of the series from it, where Armored Core 4 and For Answer kinda stood out in the series as something different. To me they are like the Gundam era of the Armored Core. But anyway, that's gonna be it for this list. I have not played the Formula Front and Ninebreaker. Also did not get to play the multiplayer of the Armored Core 5 and Verdict Day. Tell me in the comments how much you agree or disagree with my choices. What is your favorite Armored Core? Are you hyped about Armored Core 6? I sure as hell am. And what Armored Core you want Armored Core 6 be closer to? Anyway, if you watched this long, I thank you sincerely. Headers signing off.